Good morning. Welcome to Unity Longmont Spiritual Center. This morning we are blessed to have Bobbie Wilson as our guest speaker and Teresa Storch as our guest musician. So we will begin with music, Teresa.
I heard from Bobbie that the theme was what is mine or mine to do, something like that. So I thought of this song that it was like I was at a crossroads of what I wanted to do with my life. It's called Time to Go. I want to write with no reason in mind, just sit with my books while the church bells chime. Enjoy this old back porch one last time. Last days of summer, it's 2008, and time for decisions. I'll set my own fate. The withering leaves, no time for debate. I know I need to go. I know it's time to go. I found a love fills up this room, and the nights of music always end too soon. With the friends who understand, there are things I must do, but I do believe you can't go home again. Everything is different at the end, but I don't mind. I just wanna hold your hand and say, hey, hey, it's gonna be okay. Hey, hey, you'll be okay. And I know I need to go. And I know it's time to go. There is a place I know I'll end up, and it will be filled with a new kind of love, telling me there is nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to be scared of. There's nothing to be scared of.
Thank you, Teresa. Beautiful. So let us take a breath together and we'll go into prayer. Beloved presence, we are grateful as always to be joined together on this Sunday morning. We're also grateful for the beauty of the world. As we slow down, perhaps we will see more of it And when our eyes are obscured, thank you for opening them. Thank you also for the invitation at all times to open our hearts and minds. And we do so. And so it is. And Teresa?
I'm back. Okay. This is one of David's favorites. So. It's called The Ballad of St. Francis. Would sadness go away if I dispelled my grief, gave it all to someone else in need? Would hatred disappear if I planted the seed, gave my love to those who made me bleed? And I'm so tired of this pain. No one understands my need for change. If I walk the pilgrim's path, could I become a saint? Give myself completely to restraints? Could I see all my faults as a chance for love? Could it make me wise, make me humble enough? I'm so tired of this pain. And no one understands my need for change. If I love the world enough, would I see the face of God? Would I see the face of God? Would I see the face of God?
Beautiful as always, Teresa. Thank you. And Bobbie Wilson.
Okay, thank you. We're going to try something here. If it works, fine. If not, hang in there. But I'm going to try and play a little video through screen sharing. And Dave, if you would let me know if you can't hear it or something. Okay. So, just wait a minute, share. There we go. I'm going to Okay, I hope you all could see and hear that. So a friend sent that to me last week, and it's been around, I guess, since like 2012, but I'd never seen it. And it just sent chills up my spine because, good grief, we're all connected to everything. I mean, if it doesn't say, that's what it says to me. It's like, there's such an expanse of universal beingness out there that we can't even comprehend. And then coming back to ourselves, there's this huge inner expanse that we can't comprehend. So who are we? So when this talk came to me and I got the question, what is mine to do? This was a question that our founder, Twyla, used to ask all the time. What is mine to do? And I got to, thinking about that. And as that question was in my mind, I looked at my own energy. And there's a new word or words out there that describe a kind of behavior that we're probably all kind of doing right now. And that is getting on our device and looking at the news, looking at what's popping up, what next bad thing is happening. And they have a word for it now. It's called doom scrolling. Doom scrolling. So that's flooding our minds and our brains with screen images of what is wrong with society and us. And if you feel into that energy, like when you're reading the newspaper or watching the news or whatever, or even just talking with people, that energy is so low. It takes us down and we kind of go either angry or apathetic. It's like, I'm so angry this happened. What, it shouldn't happen. Or we go, what the heck can I do about it? I'm just this little itty bitty thing. And so we kind of feel helpless and impotent. And then that energy also brings up the feelings of unfairness, of victimhood, and of blaming, those kinds of behaviors, right? So when we go, what is mine to do? I think we need to step back from that a little bit because I'm not sure that's the right first question to ask. When we allow ourselves to be in this saturated with this low level energy, just vibrating very low, and it depletes our physical, our emotional, and our mental systems. You can feel it, right? You sit there on the couch for 2 hours looking at this at least I do, looking at this stuff, and then you'll get up and go, ah. So, what do we do with all that bombardment? Do we stick our heads in the sand and just go, I can't, it's too big, I can't deal with it? Or do we complain and send that energy out into the world like, oh my God, ain't it awful? Or do we get angry and point fingers at politicians and belief systems and churches and elites and powerful and the wealthy and yada, yada, yada? But if we're in that energy, that's all it's going to give us, right? That's all it's going to give us. So it won't enable us actually to do what we're here on the planet to do. And from that video, we can see visually how connected we are to everything. We're star matter. We're emptiness matter, if that's a thing. We're the emptiness between matter. And I was listening to a Sounds True podcast this morning from this fella who was talking about a different way of looking at the creation story. The way we're all brought up to believe is, in some way, shape, or form, most religions will go, God or the Great Mother or whoever created the world, and then stepped back and said, ooh, that's good. That's our creation story. But he said, there's another way to look at that. And that is, we are created out of the source of God. We are the energy of God. We are the part of God. We are that. There is no separation. And when you look at it that way, the whole paradigm shifts. The whole paradigm of our Judeo-Christian belief system loses the original sin thingy and comes back to, okay, I'm not who I thought I was. So if we think about the question, what is mine to do? It's like, what is our reason for being here? Why are we here at this time and place? Did God make a mistake and put us into a dilemma that we can't handle? That's too much for us? Do we have a purpose here? What is our individual contribution to the growth of consciousness? What is it? And how do we fulfill the purpose? So I'm thinking we need to step back from the question, what is mine to do, and ask a more fundamental question, because what is mine to do, that question can imply many different things to each of us. It can evoke many different feelings in us. So I want you to all just sit with that question for a second. Let's just go into like a 30-second kind of quietness and sit with the question, what is mine to do? And notice how you respond to that. Notice what it evokes within you. Just notice. Now take a deep breath. Bring yourself back. And how did it resonate with you? For some of us, probably, you immediately get out your mental to-do list and you go, okay, I could do this better. I could go out and do that. I can, you know, and you make your list and you start to think of ways you can contribute to the world. For some of us, we may get overwhelmed by the preponderance and size of the inequities we experience in the world. Just overwhelmed. And that question can kind of evoke a feeling of lack or not enoughness. And for the first people who made their list, that question can evoke feelings of guilt. I'm not doing enough. I need to do more. For some of us, we get stuck and stymied on how to proceed. So we just go, you know, the hell with it. I'm just going to go make lunch. And we divert ourselves. And then we kind of feel empty. Because as someone said to me the other day, I can't figure out my purpose for being here. So why the heck am I here? Or we can despair. Yeah, I just don't want to be here anymore. Now, if that's what that kind of question can invoke in us, can you see how none of that kind of activity is going to be that helpful? It's not wrong and it's not bad. But it doesn't like come from the heart. It doesn't like expand us. When we're thinking of that question in terms of our little self. When we say, what is mine to do? Am I thinking, what is little Bobbie human beings to do? Am I thinking I'm just a tiny little entity, one of 8 billion of us or whatever? So let's look at that question from a different vantage point. Who is doing the asking? Is it my little self? Is my little self, me, Bobbie, asking my little self, me, Bobbie, what are you going to do about this? Can you see how self-defeating that is? You're human, small, and insignificant, and you're asking yourself to do the work of God? Hello? Using only your human capabilities? Using only your little flesh and blood body, your mind, which only contains your past experiences and learnings in the vast expanse of what exists in the universe. We only have a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of that. No wonder we despair. No wonder we just don't know. Because we're using the wrong identity and the wrong tool to determine what is ours to do. We are getting nowhere with our little human being self. We're wandering around without a map. So let me propose something. Let's ask the question, who am I? And once I can sit back in that question, and let's just take a brief minute here and do that. Let's ask the question, who am I? And keep in mind that video we all looked at. Who am I really? Am I part of all of this? Am I the stuff of God? Am I out here because I've been evoked out of the godness of it all, the source of it all? Can I connect with that? Can I go deep into the beingness that's below and beyond my idea of myself? Just follow my breath and my heartbeat down into the source of myself. And can I feel and experience the strength of that? The safety of that? So now bring yourself back. Just take a few breaths. And with you, bring your sense of expanded heart, of openness, of wonder, of really being okay with not actually knowing specifically what we are and who we are. Not having a map or a recipe for what we're supposed to do. But here's the thing. If we're here in this time and place, and if we are emanated from the stuff of God, then we must be in the perfect time and place for us. What is ours to do? What is our purpose here? If we are connected to the light of God, to the love of God, then perhaps our purpose is to just fulfill that connection by being the light, here and now. We are here to shed light, not to wander in the darkness that we find ourselves, but to shed light. And to shed light, we have to plug in. We can put a light bulb in a dark room, right? But without power, it cannot illuminate the room. We can put ourselves in the world, but without connecting to our source, to our spirit, to our true nature, our creator, we cannot fulfill our purpose. We cannot shed light. We cannot heal and help the world evolve. So we can either be stuck in what we perceive to be a dark and suffering world, wondering what to do, or we can actually just take this small little action of connecting, of getting into that place where we are directed and guided. And think of Jesus walking the world, healing the sick, and bringing peace and love to all he met. He demonstrated the power of connection. He performed miracles with the power of connection. His teaching was, I and my Father are one. He didn't worship God. He lived God. He was God. And so are we. And so are we. In fact, even in the Bible, it says, Jesus says, ye are gods. That's not often brought out by people who want to keep us wretched and small. But we're not. We're not that. And look at the Buddha. He found his instructions by sitting quietly under the Bodhi tree and listening for a long time. He listened. He just listened. And then he connected. And he acted from a place, he and Jesus and all the other avatars out there acted from a place of genuine power, of spirit, because they connected. And look at the effect on the world. Look at the effect. So here's the good news. We can do the same thing. We can do the same thing. We can all plug in as easily as we did when we asked the question, who am I, just a few minutes ago? And we got a sense. We're more than we think we are. All it takes is the decision to turn our attention back into spirit, and we can do it easily, continuously, on the fly, in any moment. Anytime we decide. It doesn't have to be a long 30 or 40-minute meditation, although it could be. That's useful, it's helpful, it's fun sometimes. But it can be continuously walking with that, oh, wait a minute, check in. Just turning our attention to the self, the big S self of who we are. And as we do that over and over, and we watch how it works in our life, it becomes more habit forming. It becomes our way of being. And my experience is that when I do that, I immediately get instruction. I immediately get to know what to do. I sense, I know, I trust. And the practice of that is what brings it into a living eminence from each of us. So I challenge you, see if it works. I mean, I pretty much know most of you know how to do this, but often we forget because we get caught up in our little self, in our little perception, in our little seeing of the world, and we don't realize every one of us is here for a reason, and we have an important job to do, a very important job to do, and the only way we can do it is by recognizing who we are and stepping into that. And if we do that with spirit, it's easy. If we try to do it from a point of view of a small, wretched little me, it's very difficult. Because we start out with the premise that I can't. But start out with the premise that I am that I am. Start out with the premise that you're the stuff of God, the stuff of stars. So let's get back to the question, what is mine to do? And perhaps we should change it a little bit and say, what is mine to be? Before action or doing, make sure we are plugged into our power. Make sure we are being our true spiritual self. And then let the explosive force of love and light burst forth from you and shine on everything you do and everyone you touch. That's your reason for being here. It could be anything, and you're in the perfect place and the perfect time right now to do it. The world needs this power. It needs this consciousness. And our only responsibility is to be the perfect channel for it, to plug into it, to be it. So St. Francis said this, I have done what is mine to do. May Christ teach now each of you what you are to do. He said that on his deathbed. And so let's be teachable. Let's be magnificent. Let's be powerful. Let's do our purpose, each one of us. And each one of us has various ways of bringing that forth, various talents, various gifts to give the world. They're all different, they're all unique, and they're all part of God. So God bless. Thank you.
Wow, remarkable, Bobbie. Thank you. And that'll be followed by music with Teresa.
You were talking about plugging in, and I watched the little green light come on my computer saying, you need to plug in your computer. It's like, oh, I need my charger. I'm gonna run down and get it. This is another one of David's favorites. This is my my personal moments of like, what am I supposed to do with my life? I had one of those moments of like, God, okay, I just got to let go and follow this crazy feeling that I need to pursue music. So, yeah. So I've lived with my dial up to 9, my gauge well up, past the red line, my hand against my fist, my hand against my fist, my hand, as I resist. So I've learned that I can lie all the time, but once I've earned it, they would still believe the next time. My hand against my fist, my hand against my fist, my hand, as I resist. Water falling down on my face. Is this place real or just a miracle? Could we be made full of grace? What is that pounding? My hand against my fist, my hand against my fist, my hand, as I resist. Ego will not land here, and not if I can stand it. But it's the smell of fear to my mind. This time I won't go blind. When is it enough? When the stuff of the world holds my hand against my fist. So I scaled the wall made by me for one last look at that ocean view I've seen in my life, but never in my dreams. My dreams appear like water on the desert sand, and never noticing the gift was right here in my hand against my fist, 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 hand against my fist. What I found out is I found what I wanted all along. It's no great epiphany, just somewhere in a song. Oh, I found out, yes, I found what I wanted all along. Oh, it's no great epiphany, just somewhere in a song. I heard my hand against my fist, 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 hand against my fist, hand against my fist, my hand against my.
Thank you, Teresa. So it's at this time that again we take a breath together and we tap into that divinity within our heart, that love and light, and placing our hands on our heart, we share that. We allow that love, that light, that divinity to go beyond ourselves, beyond our community, perhaps even beyond our world, into the whole, all that is, which is the source of it anyway. And so it is. And we'll end with another piece of music from Teresa. Thank you.
This is a little prayer. I learned it in my yoga classes, so if if you do Kundalini yoga, it says may the long time sun. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine